Alright, Florida Railroad Museum doing business as Florida Gulf Coast Railroad, timetable number 5 in effect 2 o'clock and 2 a.m. 1 after 2 a.m. Tuesday, June 27th, 2010 for the government of employees only. Alright, list of stations and signing profile, map, schedule, automatic highway protection, bulletin board, standard clocks, closed clearance, decertification, derails, extra trains, authority to proceed, medical emergency, accepted track, flagging, general notice, orders, job briefing, manning table, qualified for service, quiet zone, radio, sanitation, speed limit, speedometer checks, standard time, superior authority, weather, willow, yards, yard limits. It shows the list of station, interlocking block station, block names, parish from willow. Block stations X indicates the service continuous to parish, miles 860, 600.1, distance South Carolina Seaboard Coastline Junction, sightings of 50-foot cars, 50 cars, 25, and it goes Dickey, Nichols, Willows, and then P is Willows, which means indicates service part-time, milepost 85.3, and that's the siding for the yard. Mainline block line names, bridge scaffold, N-track, Wuma, Balm, Soy, Boyette, South Boyette, Lithia, Durant. And it shows Saffold, Trestle, 1 degree, 8 minimum curvature, County, Willows, Curvert, 50 by, so is this maps. Alright, this one is the Willow Yard. It shows the tail, in leg, south leg, existing and proposed, sidings, main, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Northward read-up, scaffold station to it. Schedule the passenger service southward. Then it has a tree which shows the president and rental property manager, BO board of directors, chief manager, mechanical officer, mechanical forces, board of directors, vice president, and training coordinator, operating committee, rules and examiners. Operating committee goes into supplemental operations and then splits into, training coordinator goes to conductors. Supplemental operations are from left to right, transmaster, ATMRF, conductors, training man, car host, supplemental operation, road foreman, ARF, ETM, engineers, firemen, station agent, ticket agent, and then supplemental operation, road master, maintenance of workforces, and then gift shop supervisor, sales staff. Alright, 100A1, all trains, engine crews, maintenance crews, track crews must have the following items in their position while on duty: safety rules, book of operating rules, timetable, current general orders. Training engines must also have a copy of air brake rules with them. General orders and list of equipment out of service will be posted on the bulletin board in the conductor's office. General notice are filled in with the locomotive record book and each operating engine. Engineer must have their FGCX certification card CT 3000, 3002 in their possession while on duty. Other than the maintenance of work services will operated only by qualified engineers, posting engineer, fireman, locomotive rental client under the supervision of qualified engineer. General orders are dated in number. The prefix number is in the timetable. The number, the next two numbers are subsequent. First general order for each of the new table is printed, but the timetable will not be issued with the supplemental form. General orders supersede safety, operating rule book, timetable rules, special instructions are enforced, supersede, completed, or by their incorporation in the issuance of the new timetable. General notice will be issued with the chief mechanical officer name, and the purpose of general notice rapidly provide current information which have may adversely affect operation safety equipment schedules over the other items related to transportation generally are such a nature that the subject of the matter needs to be and get more rapidly than general order. 100A2, when there are two or more people working together, they must hold a job briefing starting at any work. starting any work. Each person responsible, safe job, procedures, safety equipment will be discussed. Such conditions require the briefing should be up to date, utilizing any new information. 100C1 members desiring qualifying as a trainman must be a member in a good standing, be at least 18 years of age, the courteous, knowledgeable of the history of museum, rail line area, pass required examination. Additional members desire qualifying in the position of conductor, fireman, or engine man must possess a valid driver's license from the state of their residence. Anyone failing in the examination must wait at least 30 days before retaking the exam or test. No person may serve in any above position who has mental or physical problems which would interfere with the safe and efficient performance of his or her duties, endanger the public themselves. 100C2, examination of the members desiring to become qualified trainmen, conductors, firemen, engine men shall be under supervision of road foreman, trainmaster, and their assistants. Rule examiner, chief mechanical officer, the other designated examiner may consist of the oral written exams, practical tests under operation simulated conditions, hands-on demonstration, other methods to determine the member's qualification. 100C3 to entry-level position promotion is car host. Car host will be neat in appearance, acceptable dress, and minimum dark or navy black trousers, black socks, shoes, white long sleeve shirt, long or short sleeve shirt, a blouse, and a museum baseball cap. Their preferred standard headwear would be in a trainman's cap rather than a baseball cap. A black tie or black vest are optional. A railroad conductor or the trainman's jacket is optional. However, if you wear a jacket, a black tie is required. It must serve for a minimum of 30 days before qualifying as a trainman. They will be provided with a history of the museum. Line will operate over the equipment and over future plans. Must undergo a safety orientation period prior to functioning car host. Car host must be instructed and perform such trainman duties which the conductor feels is appropriate with the car host knowledge and experience. Such instruction supervision shall be under the direct supervision and or qualified person direct towards the car host transition to trainman. 100C4 that the trainman will be neat in appearance wherever the prescribed uniform badge of the office comply with the dress code of the car hosts, except that the trainman cap will be required. The position essential for the position posting position promotion to conductor such as must work with the conductor on the ground using conductor qualification reporting code form C2800 required service C2801 be trained in required paperwork. They must be signed on the form CT800 with the different conductors, by three different conductors. They may have a CT801 filled out showing that he has met the minimum time requirement of at least 30 days time and grade before being considered for a promotion. To remain current, they must complete 2 round trips in a capacity of any 12-month period. However, at least one of these shall be as a trainman or better. They must pass recertification exam every 2 years unless qualified by a higher ranking position of which they test and rule exam annually. 100C5 conductors will be neat in appearance wherever the prescribed uniform and badge off of the conductor shall hold the valid driver license for the ensure of the minimum vision requirements. If they do not hold vision license, they must all at their expense provide a doctor's certificate stating the vision impairment. If any weather glasses are required, in order to stay current, they must complete 2 round trips in a capacity of 12-month period. However, at least one of these trips shall be as a conductor. It is the responsibility of the conductor to maintain records of the continued currency. They must pass a recertification exam every 2 years and rules examined annually. Alright, 100C6. Firemen shall be qualified conductors. They must be neat in appearance and try to maintain neatness of even the position. They may require repairs will result in a soiled clothing. Railroad engineer's cap is the preferred headwear. Baseball cap should be at least last resort as we are trying to present a 1950s image. Fireman shall be under training of the engineer. He will be instructed with locomotive maintenance, lubricating, troubleshooting, air brake, train handling, radio procedure, idiosyncrasies of various locomotives. He must ride with and signed off with 3 different engineers of the engineering qualification report, Form C2802. Maintain his record of service, Form 18801. He must work in the position of the period of 90 days, which their engineers feel that is capable, and run at least 1 trip per day and do the switching prior being signed off. maintain his continued currency. They must make at least 2 trips in capacity in 12-month period. However, at least one of these trips shall be as a fireman unless they are qualified. They as qualified engineer, in which case the trip as engineer shall meet the requirements. They must pass a recertification exam every 2 years. Unqualified as an engineer, unless qualified as an engineer, rules exam annually. 100C7A. Engineers shall be neat in appearance, comply with clothing requirements outlined with the firemen, completing with the fire requirements. They shall check with the written with the past examination rule and safety air brake timetable. Physical characteristics to stay current. Engineers must complete with the 4 round trips in a capacity of 12-month period, and for at least 2 shall be as an engineer. Engineers must present their driver license time of the initial qualification, each annual recertification, and must pass the annual rules exam. Operating an engineer shall have the form CT 3000 3002 in its possession. 100C7B. All maintenance of work operators. Maintenance of way operators shall be designated by Roadmaster, comply with 100A1. Pass examinations administered by the Chief Mechanical Officers. 100C8. Operating Committee may request Board of Directors to waive certain of the above requirements when his judgment good of the museum dictates. Such waiver could be for an emergency to allow the qualified experienced railroad bypass some of the time requirements. 100C9. Engineer conductor certifications dependent on their possession of valid driver license, revocation, or suspension, and such licenses also automatically decertify the member. Suspended the privileges to the function of the capacity of the museum. It is required duty of the member to offer revocation, suspension of his driver's license, to surrender his engineer certificate to the proper authority. Failure to comply with this rule, subject member action to the Board of Directors. Decertification will remain in effect until revocation suspension has been fulfilled. Any member who lets his or her membership lapse or who resigns shall be required to requalify and shall later rejoin. Such requalification shall be required prior to filling out any of these previously qualified for. Time and grade requirements waived provided the member can demonstrate the required skills for the position. 100K1. A member of the train crew shall be stationed in each car handling passengers for purposes of enforcing discipline and safety. 100K2. The train crew shall not permit passengers to detrain until a clear signal is received within an engine crew. Such signal should be one short blast, whistle, and hand clear signal or radio communication. Once the signal has been given and under circumstances shall the engine crew move the train unless there is a complete understanding by all crew of what is to transpire. 100K3. Passengers should not be allowed to enter the D train except the designated areas under supervision of the train crew. 100K4. Except in emergency, reversing the locomotive while in motion is prohibited. 100L1. Members are prohibited from boarding, alighting from moving equipment. 100L2. Riding the locomotive leading footboard is prohibited. Wherever the footboard's corner stairwells are both provided, and riding the footboard is prohibited. Riding trailing footboard while coupled with the trailing equipment is prohibited. 100L3. The use of non-self-contained toilets is prohibited. 100L4. Any locomotive, car, toilet, other piece of equipment that is found with defective, malfunction, otherwise unsafe, must be immediately repaired, removed from service, and proper authority notified. 100L5. All tracks in the middle yards are to be considered closed clearance. Exercise due care with using the yard. 100L6. During periods of incremental weather such as severe thunderstorms, crews must be on the lookout for downed trees, power lines, crooked, eroded right-of-way, washed out culvert trestles. Approach culverts, trestles, low spots with caution. Do not operate locomotive when water is more than 2 inches above the rail. During hail or crane warning, set the handbrakes on all equipment and leave nothing on the downgrade main line north of Willow. 100M. Minimum train crew shall consist of engineer, conductor, and 1 trainman or car hose for each occupied passenger car. 1001. All times stated with the timetable Eastern Standard Time, the Eastern Standard Eastern Daylight Savings Time. 1002. The conductor shall be responsible for timekeeping, shall have the possession of all times accurate working timepiece. Prior to starting any of the operations, the conductor shall determine that what at the timepiece is set The correct Eastern time is accurate and no standard clocks is in service. Bulletin board general notices are located in the front of the locomotive log books and the conductor's office on the training. Keep a record of hours service law of the responsibility of the conductor to determine which each crew member had exact time off duty prior to starting work record in proper record. Alright, signal speeds, 4008, 1004A. All trains' engines operated by or for Florida Power Light Company and successors shall be considered superior to all trains and engines of the Florida Gulf Coast Railroad. 1004B, northward, westward trains are superior by direction unless otherwise specified. 1004C, maximum authorized speed for passenger train light engines is 15 miles an hour. Maximum authorized speed for freight work trains is 10 miles an hour. Track car maintenance work equipment speeds not exceed 10 miles an hour. 1004D, schedules hold no authority for train movement and information purposes. Train and engines may occupy track under yard limited rules. All track from MP milepost 8537 southward to 869.1 are designated yard limits by Florida Gulf Coast Railroad. 1004E, locomotive speedometers must be checked against mile markers on the first trip of the day to ensure that they are accurate. 1004F, steam locomotives with blind center drives are limited to 5 miles per hour when moving through self-guarding switch frogs. Alright, 1006, the following letters characterize the schedule indicate: S for regular stop, F for flag stop, asterisk for passenger train with freight equipment. 1012, the size of the signal speed for the given is sum of the indication of the distance. Large backup signal indicates a great deal of the distance of the coupling or stop with a small gradual slowing signal indicates a coupling or stop close at hand. 1019, crews are relieved of complying with the rear end markers requirements when they are sole operating entity. 1032, except in emergency, use of the whistle north of milepost 855 is prohibited, and the use of the bell shall be minimal. This is a voluntary quiet zone. 1036, the following locations have automatic highway grade crossing protection. Note, at this time, all automatic crossing protections has been removed. Train must approach crossings at restricted speed if required, provided with a flag protection before entering the crossing. 1038, unless otherwise specified, temporary speed restriction will be 5 miles per hour. Movement of trains. 1084A, radios will be tested before working. Hand tests should be used whenever possible. All persons involved with the movement must understand when changing the radio to hand signal serve the vice versa is made. Whenever possible, brakeman will ride the engineer's side of the locomotive during switching moves while running around the train. Road frequency AAR channel 10 and the yard frequency AAR channel 68. Other frequencies are backups. Radios are for operational use only. Except for unauthorized use of radios is prohibited. 1084B, all locomotives must be spotted over the oil mats inside of the fence area wheel yard at completion of the day of the work. 1084C, the MP12070 party caboose must be removed from the train after each chartered run. It is not to be hauled dead end on uncharted trips. 1099, all trains relieve the flag protection within the yards. All trains are relieved of flag protection within yard limits. 1103, shoving movements over non-protected public-private grade crossings shall be made at a speed not exceeding 5 miles per hour, while rear car is in shoving platform caboose equipped with backup hose, warning whistle. All other movements shall be stopped and be flag protected. 1104, switches shall be a left line for a straight through movement, except when being used for switching purposes. Prior to the movement over US 301 at Parish, ensure that the derail on each side of the US 301 is in the non-derailing position. 1106, the Parish House track and the power plant spurs are expected to track, and non-revenue passenger may be operated on them. Willow Yards limit extend the milepost 853.7 south of 850 milepost 855. Alright, medical emergency plans. In the event of the onboard emergency, the EMS, the fire department, or law enforcement contact Manatee call at 911 Viva cell phone. Due to the remote nature of Operation File, 3 areas have been designated access points. Florida Gulf Coast Ag Station at Parish, behind the Expo 12355 US 301 North, Grade Crossing Dickey Road, east of 301 north of Parish, FGCX Willow Road, and the other tracks entering from Hillsborough County, Willow Road, east of 301. The conductor shall determine the most suitable location to meet and proceed over the location. One selected site should not be changed. If the tired highway vehicles can be better time to get on to the train than vice versa. 5. Should situation arise, such person falling from the train and the victim cannot be moved, FGCX will meet the EMS, transport them to the scene. When calling 911, ask Manatee County 911 for Manatee County 911. Identify yourself within the museum. Describe the nature of the emergency. Give them designated meeting point. Provide any information 911 request. Stay by phone in case of the need to be called back. GE Miley, cell phone number 941-730-782. 0. Conductor shall certain that current for Parish phone number prior to leaving shows a qualified service and name, position, rulebook date, air brake date by, safety date by, timetable date by, other date by. Alright, the Florida Gulf Coast Railroad Museum General Order number 501, timetable number 5 is in effect, contains necessary instructions and general orders of the date and many new changes. Each employee must examine each page to ensure complete. Copy is complete. Note any change of the new format in loose leaf. Book Rule CT 402, revised reissue of the loose leaf format, which effective date June 27, 2010. Safety Rulebook CT 100B1 has been revised, reissued in loose leaf format with effective date July 27, 2010. Air Brake Manual CT 99DD2 has been reissued in loose leaf format effective July 27, 2010. All tracks in the Willow Yards are considered under construction. Major changes within the timetable include the daily safety rule listing have been moved from timetable to the safety rule book. Major time and grade changes have been made for service qualifications. C. There has been major restructuring of the manning table. D. Corrected AAR Association of American Railroad Yard frequency to channel 68. The combined conductor report wheel report assigned to the new control number CT 999-0, supersetting CT 99. Present issues of the form are considered current and may be used on unit supply as exhausted. General orders permanent timetable number 5 will not be issued in loose leaf form. 18 Mazzara, Rule Examiner. And that was your timetable number 5, Florida Railroad Museum.